Lost Property, Chapter 22. Now, again, it's a bit of storytelling, so I am going to move on ahead through a few pages. Michael takes Josh to teach him how to drive because he's got his learner's permit. He's going to show him how to drive, and then we get that conversation sort of between them. So they've gone for their driving lesson, and they've stopped. And we're on page 213 of your book. As he stops, this is what he asks Josh. "What do you think of Kelly, eh?" he asked, looking across at me from the driver's seat. "Isn't she great?" "She's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen." Should have seen the look on Michael's face. You'd think he'd won the lotto and the Melbourne Cup all on the same day. The words came out like that because I wanted to please him, but they stunned me as well. To be honest, Kelly wasn't really a match for the glamorous models and actors you see on television. Her kind of beauty would be hidden next to a perfect face and elegant gestures. She was happy with her life, with the people she loved, and especially the man who loved her. But I couldn't explain any of this to Michael without sounding like a girl. Okay, so I'm just going to stop here. Now, when Michael asks, "What do you think?" and Josh says, "She's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen," it's an honest reply. He's not pretending. Yes, he wanted to please Michael. Yes, he wasn't going to say, "Look, she's terrible." But he also believed it. That's the thing. He was being honest. His response came out of sheer honesty. That's why he says, "My comments stunned me as well." And then he goes on to describe Kelly and to say, well, okay, she's not the prettiest looking. However, there's a happiness about her. So the one thing that he's actually starting to understand is beauty is not necessarily what's on the outside. It's what's on the inside that counts. So when we look at Josh at the beginning of the novel and realise that he's with Alicia because she is absolutely super stunning, gorgeous girl, and it's good for his ego, he is looking at Alicia in a very superficial manner. He's looking at her from the outside and taking that beauty, and that's what's important to him. As he goes on to meet Gemma, who perhaps isn't quite as good looking as Alicia, not that she's bad, but he notices something more about her. And it's not just the outside beauty that he likes about Gemma. He actually starts really liking her personality. And then he meets Kelly, who is absolutely no stunner in this sort of level. However, she's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. She counteracts everybody in terms of beauty, and it's because of inner beauty. So he has really learnt a lesson by going to Mackay and meeting Michael and Kelly here. Okay, so we're going to go on ahead. The discussion is, about maybe coming back to Sydney, and Michael says, "Look, I can't go home, Josh, not yet." And he goes, yes, I know, you've got things to do. And then that anger of Dad comes out again. Of course I am, angry about Dad. He threw me out of the house, didn't he? And Mum didn't stop him. Why wouldn't I be angry? Josh comes to Dad's rescue and says, "Mike, Dad's absolutely straight in everything that he does. He cares about you, Mike. He cares about you more than I do, or Hayley, or even Mum." So he really gives, and we're on page 215 of the novel here, so he gives Josh an understanding that Dad doesn't hate him, and he didn't do what he did out of hate. It is out of love. Okay, and then they go on to talk about Phil Tambling and all the stories that he's heard about his father. And Michael just says, "Well, that's his story, Josh. Up here, I'm making my own." And this statement goes back to this idea of your own identity. And this is what the whole problem with Michael has been, that he has not had his own identity as a person in his own. Michael was silent for almost a minute, then continued more calmly. "We're not carbon copies of Dad, Josh. Sooner or later, you have to make your own life. Dad did me a favour, kicking me out like that. Looking at it now, I'm glad he did. Then he reached across and did that thing with my hair again. Made me grow up, become my own man. I can see that." So, it was obviously a good thing that Dad actually perhaps asked him to leave. Otherwise, he goes on to say, I would have never have come here, wouldn't have met Kelly, and wouldn't be having this wonderful life that I'm having now. Do you know what I'm getting at, Josh? The best things in life are the ones you go out and grab for yourself. That's being your own man. So sometimes it's not what you're given that you appreciate. It's actually where you have to go out and earn your own money, buy something for yourself, go out and do something for yourself, and put that effort and hard work into something. And then when you get it or you receive it, it's very self-satisfying. Being given something isn't quite as satisfying as actually going out and doing something for yourself. And then Michael goes on to say, you'll have to do the same one day, little brother. No matter what a good bloke Dad is, you'll have to break away from him in the end. So in other words, you have to make your own life. You have to make your own choices. And with that, we end the chapter.